So Tshepo, thank you very much for making time to share your insights into the future of leadership. But before we move into the future, can you give us a little bit of your own background? Where did you grow up?
Thank you, Nick. Dr. Nick, let me repeat that again. I grew up in Limpopo from the district called Mopani.
Right.
I spent my first few years in the elementary section of one studying, and I went up to secondary school, still in Limpopo, and then university. Then I was fortunate enough to be accepted at Wits in the late 1997-98.
Right.
And the rest is history. I've been in Joburg ever since.
Now, before we go into your career,
Yeah.
can you tell us what was your dream career when you grew up?
I've always seen myself as somebody that needs to speak for others.
Right.
But at the time, I didn't understand whether it would be a lawyer or PR or public relation, that is. But when I came to Joburg, then I realized that I can add more value when I am speaking or advocating for others with authority.
Right.
That's why when I went to Wits, the first couple of years, the first 2 years I was doing BA, and then third year I figured Bachelor of Arts alone is not enough.
Right.
I then applied to add law courses.
Okay.
And I added law courses in my second year, third year, and I graduated with the first degree, BA law, and then followed by LLB. That is what influenced me to decide that the career that I thought was going to be just speaking for others could actually be nurtured by being in a profession that is respected.
So where did you start your legal career?
So the legal career from Wits University, then I was fortunate enough again to do my articles with a firm of attorneys called Ramsey Weber Incorporated. It's based in Ilovo. And I think that's where a lot of things started taking shape.
Right.
Before that, I didn't get out of the university straight into doing articles. I had the opportunity to work for two prominent insurance companies, and I think that's where I learned this acting for others,
right,
or looking after others' interest, and then in return getting paid for that. So I was a claims consultant, and then I was a claims consultant again and legal advisor.
Right.
And during that period, I realized that it is still not enough just to be a claims consultant or legal advisor with a legal background without you being a lawyer.
Right.
During that period, then I decided that I need to enroll with, at the time, I think it's still called Practical Legal School, which is offered by the Law Society of South Africa. It is basically a year of articles outside the firm or outside a firm of practicing lawyers. I completed that successfully. It was a night school, quite difficult, a lot of sacrifice and long nights. And just before I finished that, that's when Ramsey Weber picked me up through the system when I was applying to get into a firm that can help me finish my articles and be admitted as a lawyer. For me to get into at least top law firm or at least medium-sized law firm and niche and strong in terms of ethos and background, I would have to move back to Joburg.
Tshepo, when you speak to aspiring leaders, young leaders,
Yeah.
what is it you tell them? How should they navigate and go about communicating on social media and building their own personal brand on social media?
I think the first thing that I really want to mention is that when you're a leader and you are now exposed to social media, when you communicate, you must ensure that you say and mean what you say, and your message must be clear, and where you say things that you would want to take back,
Right.
or where you err in your message, you must be able to apologize and withdraw and say, I've made a mistake.
Right.
Because then that says, as a person, you acknowledge that you also have your own faults. You can't be perfect.
Right.
And in that imperfection, the learning is next time when I say what I'm saying, I'll say it differently and possibly much better. For me, that's what I would want a future leader to be able to benefit from social media to use, because that's where now as a leader, people want to see who you are associated with, what you say, and how you say it, and to who you are saying it. And with that said, you then have to watch what you say if you want to be an innovative leader, because you can't be saying things that you don't mean. So if your message is unclear, it means even the people that you lead will not be able to innovate, because tomorrow you'll be saying, no, that's not what I said. So if the message is clear, then the decision won't be difficult to make.
So in a nutshell, we need to, as future leaders, we really need to think things through
first before we speak.
Now, Tshepo, you touched already on mentoring.
Yeah.
And you shared one success story.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to mention or you want to add to the subject of mentoring, maybe from your own experience, and maybe also for future leaders who obviously will want to and will need to mentor the next generation?
Look, I think my take is with the theme that I've mentioned earlier on, being able to serve and be selfless.
Right.
With these two words, if you're able to serve, it means you'll make time to listen to somebody who says, I want you to coach me. So I would say, as a future leader, as a future innovative leader, you've got to, from time to time, accept requests to mentor others.
Right.
And maybe even move a step further, coach where you can, coach in terms of your experiences, so that someone does not repeat the same mistakes you have made in your journey. So they don't have to repeat those mistakes. They can actually pick up from your experience and avoid those pitfalls.
Right.
That for me would be the advice that I would want to.
And Tshepo, are there any role models of leadership that you advise future leaders should study and maybe learn from?
Yeah, look, I've got quite a few to mention. As I said earlier on, the first leader that I think, if you want to be a future innovative leader, you need to study will be Christine Lagarde, the current IMF Managing Director.
Right.
The second leader is the Amazon founder and CEO or chairman.
Yeah.
Mr. Bezos.
Right.
And in terms of African leaders, I thought long and hard. I thought I've read and I've seen, and the only person that comes to mind in terms of the contributions they have made in their country, and even in my country where I live currently, is Aliko Dangote. So Aliko Dangote is an investor and owner of Dangote Group. Yeah. His business is a business that traditionally you would have thought, it's a difficult business to be in, and for me, I look at it as a simple business of selling product. He's into cement, he's into flour and sugar, and that sort of thing. So I think that would be a leader that you study to learn how he has managed to acquire all of this. After all these years, of trial and error.
Now, Tshepo, how can our listeners connect with you, and where should they follow you?
I'm available on LinkedIn and also on my email address Yahoo, which is tdralebepa@yahoo.com.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Tshepo, last but not least, can you tell us, is there one piece of advice that you would really like to convey to future leaders that they should implement in their own life?
Look, I want to repeat it because I think it's important. If you then begin to realize that as you lead a company or group of people, you are actually serving them. And in that service, if you are selfless, it means you would be willing to listen before you make a decision. because you're not thinking about yourself.
Right.
You're always thinking about the needs of others. Already you are in leadership, so you can't ask for more. So the least you could do for those that you're leading is to listen to them and lead them with humility and be humble in your leadership.
Well, Tshepo, thank you very much for sharing your insights and your wisdom into the future of leadership and reminding us that there is I think they say there's no traffic jam in the extra lane.
Yes.
That when you keep going over and above, then opportunities will come knocking to your door, as they did in your career. And I think that's a very important reminder for our future leaders.
Absolutely.
Thank you.